What was the last thing?
Okay, so everybody won't need a chat. So they smell. Like they just want to eat you right on up, honey. Go ahead. That's all right.
Right, right, right. So um, like his wife, like I said, we were real close, we were best friends. And so she would say stuff like, I'm your mama, your sister, and your best friend.
God damn. What is up
Yep.
with these words that they is using?
I
Okay.
know. She used to say that all the time, all the time. And so me and the guy, we worked with my boyfriend in this business that we were in. Okay. And he worked, they were partners, and I was personal assistant to my boyfriend. Okay. All right. And so, and that's how we was able to be where we lived and all that type of stuff like that. So all this connection, okay. And the reason that we were in this big house, which I don't even know if they realize that, is because of me and my children. So therefore, we had this big house for all of us. If because of my connection with the boyfriend, I don't know if they realized that's how it was for real, but that's the reason. But anyway, so um, so she he liked to have they both as a couple, it was very weird. As a couple, they just loved me to pieces and wanted to keep me to themselves, even though they're the ones who introduced me to the boyfriend that I ended up getting with. They're the ones who introduced me. Me and him ended up getting really, we close and tight and everything. And he got my attention like crazy. He wants me to him because I'm his girlfriend, right? They start getting jealous of this. So when the guy is doing his different things that, to help me, he would say different little things. He started getting to the point he started saying negative things about the boyfriend, just trying to come up with all kind of stuff to make me doubt my relationship, right? And then she would come to me and say all kind of stuff to make me doubt the relationship. And then come to find out, they're both talking to him and telling him all kind of negative stuff. They're trying to break the relationship up. Me and him end up talking. We weren't telling each other what they were saying because they supposed to be our friends. So we're not saying nothing to each other, right? But then I start bringing it up myself, and so this is before I leave. This is before I leave, and so I'm telling the boyfriend, you know what? They're saying this, that, and the other about you. It's like they trying to break us up or something. He was like, what? You know what? They telling me blah 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 about you, and so we was like, yeah, they are trying to break us up. And I was like, that's crazy. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be together in the first place. And so I was like, why are they doing that? And then as then I'm paying attention more. And I'm like, because they just want me to themselves. They don't want to share me. And it got weird. And that's another reason I wanted to leave. It was just too much vampiric atmosphere going on.
Yeah.
And so, um, okay, so skip back to I left. Right, I left to go stay with some other people, and um so the wife was like, look, what's going on? Why she just leave? Something's going on. What did you do? What happened? Why she not telling me? And why you not telling me why she left? What's going on? And so because she knew how to a degree manipulate him. So she said, she already told me what happened, so won't you tell me? That's how she got him to start talking, knowing I had said nothing to her.
I'm like, what he
So
say?
right. So he says, now me and him never had sex at all. At all. Never kissed at all. Okay. So then he says, so then he's explaining stuff to her about what he did to me. And then he said, and then he told her that we were having sex. And I was like, okay, I'm not knowing this yet. He told her that we was having an affair and that we both wanted it. And and so she's all hurt and upset. So then she comes to where I'm staying at now. She comes to me and she's trying to get me to tell her what's going on. And I know she's playing a game trying to find out something because I wasn't going to say anything. But then when she started telling me what he said, I'm pissed. I am mad because how dare you? The situation is already bad enough. You gonna add to it? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
That
because he
making
feel like
sense?
that'll open the door so that now he can come to you and try to have the sex.
Oh wow. I never even thought about it
Yeah.
like that. That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that crazy? Ugh. So, oh my gosh. So, ugh. Okay. So anyway, so so I tell her what happened. I tell her everything that happened, and I explained every. I mean, I broke everything down: the feelings, what happened, how it happened, the manipulation, the neuro linguistic mind control, the little sis, all that stuff. Like you know how you call me, little, went through all that. And she's hurt and upset and everything. But I was like, we did not have sex. That did not happen at all. Never kissed or anything. So of course that part right there, that's gonna sound like, so all this happened, but y'all didn't do this. No, we didn't. And then her husband is saying we had sex, and so I'm looking like I am lying, right? I'm looking like I'm lying when I'm not. Then it gets over to my boyfriend. They best friends. It gets over to him, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Because I just wanted to just bury it and go on about my life. I didn't want to talk about none of this stuff. I didn't want to talk about nothing. Just let's move on. The whole thing is crazy. Who's gonna believe me? Ugh. So me and him talk, and then he tells me everything the guy told him. I'm like, that's not true. That is not true. And then I'm like, oh, and he said y'all had sex and this and the other. I was like, we did not have sex. We did not kiss. We didn't do none of that. And so he's looking at me like, why? What? Like that don't make sense, right? And then he was like, but you're too smart. You're very intelligent, And I already knew all that was going to happen. That's why I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. And so he was like, you are, you're very smart, intelligent, blah, 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 blah. I don't understand how this could have happened. I don't understand how you could have allowed this to happen. None of this makes sense. And he just is like, So he believed the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody believed him. So I'm looking like a home wrecker, and I'm devastated. I'm hurt. I'm upset. I'm mad, angry, and I'm just in a bad situation, just a bad situation. Staying with some other people, just a mess. And I had my daughter, my middle daughter. She had a dream that I was burning up in the shower. Okay. And what ended up happening was some time later, I'm taking a shower. All this stuff is too much, right? It's just too much. And so I'm in the shower and I'm having a breakdown. I am having a breakdown. Like I was like to the edge of snapping. Like snap, right? I'm in the shower and all of a sudden out of nowhere, everything was going on was just like coming at me so much, and I couldn't take it, and I just started screaming and hollering in a shower to the screaming, hollering to the top of my lungs, just having a whole episode to where I'm on the floor of the tub in fetal position, just screaming and losing it. So my daughter, because she had the dream, she's young. She's like 7. No, yeah, about 7, somewhere around there, 7, 8. And so she's screaming, knocking on the door, panicking because she had a dream that I was burning up in the shower. But when I realized she just had a premonition that her mom was gonna have a breakdown because I'm in the shower, she's thinking I'm burning,
Mhm.
right? So she's having a conniption, and the door is locked, of course. And so the husband and wife at that time that we're staying with, they all trying to figure out what's going on. They and the husband, got the doorknob off to get me. I'm flipping out. I'm seeing myself slip, and a part of me wanted to slip because I was just so tired of so much that has accumulated throughout my whole life. It was because there's so much stuff before that too, and I was just like, I'm just tired. I'm so tired. But then of course the other part was like, you can't go nowhere. You can't slip. You got kids. You got to keep your mind. We got stuff to do. You can't do this. You can't slip. We're gonna let you go ahead and have your fit, but you can't
You
go
cannot check
away.
out, boo.
Right,
You
right, exactly. And
cannot
so
check out of this hotel, okay?
exactly. So what the lady did I was saying was, so she called the boyfriend,
Oh shit.
and he was like, she's having a breakdown. Uh she needs to talk to you. Only you can calm her down. And so he hears me having my breakdown. And she's like, he's on the phone. I'm still having my breakdown. And then she puts my, I guess, on speaker or whatever so I can hear him. He calms me down. And but I end up getting myself together. But that was really a pivotal moment in my life because it was just like, what the hell else? That's how I felt. Because like the divorce and everything, I went through the whole situation with him with my ex. That was a whole bunch of stuff. Then this it in life, it was just too much that I felt. That was my training. I realize that now. That was training for who I be.
Okay.
But the good thing about that situation, years later, I ended up being able to talk to that boyfriend again and break down situations, talk to him, gave him all different types of evidence and told him about some things, how he knew I wouldn't lie to him and stuff like that. And once he heard everything as time went by, he realized I was telling the truth. That felt so good. Like I needed that so bad for him to know that it did not happen the way that the other man said. And I felt validated. I needed that closure, so I was glad that after that long talk, and then he realized, he realized he missed out on me big time because he believed all that stuff. So I had closure. I was able to have closure in that years later.
Mm.
So yep, now it's out there in the atmosphere.
Yeah, so maybe I was misconstrued. I thought that you was talking about that dude being the one with the that wasn't the story that you was telling about knowing when a mofo is having sex and how
That's
connected
the
y'all.
boyfriend. That's the boyfriend.
That's the boyfriend.
That's the boyfriend.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so go back to that because that's interesting, especially now in this day and age. Because when it comes to spirituality and especially what I do, channeling, many are in fear because of information that has been put out, especially with religion, and I try to learn and decipher the difference between like demonic possession, attachments,
Right.
all of these things, and how it relates to themselves. So I think that story is very important. Shit.
Okay. So
And meantime, audience, this is all this shit is kind of going on at the same time. It's a lot going on. But go ahead.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so I gotta start off. Okay. All right. So let me go over to okay, so do you want me to start off where I was talking about the stuff that was happening to me and then the name, like what I told y'all before? Is that how you want me to go
Oh yeah, go
about it?
ahead. Shoot. Yeah.
Okay. So with me, when I was a Seventh-day Adventist, I always had all kinds of questions because so much stuff wasn't making sense, and I was the kind of child that wanted to, in person to this day, I want to know everything as much as possible. I want to understand why. Why does it work like this? Why does that happen? Why does this happen? Why does this happen? Why does that happen? And um, so as a child, I went through a lot of at the time being a Christian, so I would call demonic situations and a lot of spiritual situations that was happening all throughout my life. So, like for instance, when my parents were okay, so like let's say going out witnessing, knocking on people's doors and try to get people to come, to join a church and stuff like that, and doing Bible studies and stuff like that. This is the part you don't. I haven't told you. They were while they were doing that, there was situations happening where there's a group of them who had demonic situations that happened to them when they got home after they were trying to help people join the church. So, for instance, this one lady, she comes home and she had a bowl, like a glass bowl, and with a spoon in it. It was like a decoration. And she's in one room and she hears this click, 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 click going on. And she's the only one home. She's home by herself. She's trying to figure out what's going on. And then so she goes, to make a long story short, she goes and the spoon is clicking inside the bowl by itself. No, she don't see anybody. And it's clicking by itself. She's scared, terrified, feeling like they're being under attack by the devil because they out there trying to help and witness to people. And so, and then of course, I rebuke you, Satan, name of Jesus, stuff like that, and scared and stuff. And so she kept going through her thing, and click, 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 click. She's just watching it terrify her. And then once she gets to a certain point, then it just click and stops. Another person, they going through another one of people. This all happened all in the same night. I think like their door got busted open. I believe something like that happened. Nobody's there. They went through a situation. I don't remember all the stories. My parents, what happened with them was I'm a baby. Okay, I'm a baby in my crib in my room because we had moved to different places. So I say that for you because of other stories that I told you. Um, So they're in their bed, and we're in Texas. Texas is hot. It's summertime, burn up on fire. They got the fan going. They sweat. They in the bed sweating because they so daggone hot, right? And so they had a rose bush outside the house, and they hear scratching.
Mm-hmm.
So they're thinking it was the thorns on the rose bush scratching up against the wall. Well, the sound went from the outside to the inside, but they can't see anything. The scratching. Then the scratching noise goes to their Chester drawer. I believe it was a Chester drawer. So they're hearing all this scratching inside the Chester drawer. Then the drawer starts shaking. And so then they praying, and then the room goes ice cold. My mama said it got so cold that her lips were trembling.
Mm-mm.
And so they're praying, singing all kind of songs and stuff to try to, get rid of this entity. And it's angry. And so as they saying whatever they feel they need to say, rebuking it and all that stuff in the name of Jesus. And then finally it stops all the shaking, and they say it's like a whirlwind, like shoo, 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 and the window was open. It had curtains, so they said it was like shh, 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 and whoosh, and it went out the window, and the curtains flew like this out the window because whatever it was flew out. So everybody that particular night had experience. So that's one of the first stories that I knew about that happened to us. And there's other things that happen too. There's other things that happen too. But um okay, so for me, I I would have where oh, hold me back up. I had when I was 3 years old, I had this being that was like energy. The color of it was like a cloud energy. It's the only way I can explain it. It had two eyes, I mean two holes for the eyes and a hole for the mouth. And so it would I seen it one time and it came walking through the door. As we lived in a different place. I'm 3 years old at this time, around 3 years old this time. I'm saying, I had a cot in the living room. We had a one bedroom. My parents are in the bedroom sleep, and so it comes through. It's kind of whitish. So it had a head, arms, and legs, torso, right? But it was like moving like that. If that makes, I don't know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it comes through the door. So my little young mind, it's kind of whitish. So I said, Daddy, a white man came walking through the door. And so then my dad said, say, I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus. And so it's coming through the door real slow, walking towards me. And so then I say it, and then it stopped and it stared at me. And then I turned around and then it walked out the door. And I always wonder about that. Okay. Other situations. I would have all throughout my youth up until 29, 30, I would have where an entity at night would try to suck out my oxygen from my lungs, press down on my chest like a elephant, a weight of an elephant, right? Just sitting on me, and it was so heavy, and I felt it pulling my breath out of my mouth. And so I'll be fighting that like crazy, trying to not die. I went through that for years, and it used to terrify me. And so I would say, um, and so I had learned demons flee when you say the name of Jesus. And so for me, that was an issue. You know what I'm saying? And so, because when I did it, it took forever for the stuff to stop. It took forever, and that really frustrated me. And I always was like, "What's going on? Why does it take so long?" And so I would have to go through a whole process of my whole body being completely paralyzed. I could only move my eyes around, and my tongue is paralyzed. So I have to go through screaming, hollering Jesus in my mind. Then slowly my my voice will start making noise where I'm like, and then slowly my tongue, like from the bottom up, would start loosening up. So I'm like, and then my mouth would finally start loosening up. And I'm like, Jesus, excuse me, Jesus, and I'm trying to make it leave. And then it would take forever. And it's like, oh, fine. Hey, y'all should keep saying Jesus, let's go now. And that will piss me off because I'm like, what the heck? It's supposed to be power in the name of Jesus. And I know there's going to be people who's going to say, there is power in the name of Jesus. Jesus helped me with this and Jesus helped me with that. Hey, that's fine. I'm not here or there to say what happened to you, but as you hear my story, you're going to possibly realize something later on about who you are. So, so asking all kind of questions about things that's happening in church, asking questions about this, asking about demonic situations. Nobody knew what to do. It was like a taboo situation. Like, we're supposed to be so powerful. Why y'all can't help us with casting out demons? Like, why are we weak in that area? That's a problem. People are being attacked, but y'all don't have anything for that. And then there's a Bible in the story where this man was possessed with demons, and so these other men decided they want to try to cast a demon out, and they were like, what did it say? I don't know the exact scripture. I don't remember the exact scripture, but it's like, so and so I know, Jesus I know, but who are you? So what happened was the demon jumped into them, right? So what I realized, a lot of pastors were terrified to mess with, to even try to cast out demons because they were scared it's going to jump into them, which I understand, especially if they up there doing all kind of stuff they don't have no business doing. So they too scared to say anything because they don't want to be possessed themselves. So I knew why a lot of them, they didn't want to touch it. It was a few little evangelists that did little things here and there, but anyway. So on my discovery of figuring out what's going on, this isn't true, this isn't true, that isn't true. I was like, something about the name of Jesus isn't real. This is not correct. It's not working for me. There's no power in this name. I don't care what anybody says. This has been my experience. That's how I felt. And so I was on a journey of who is Jesus? What's his what is God's son's real name? That was my quest. So then the lady that I said I was staying with after I left that situation with the little sis situation, she taught me about Yahushua. So she was like, the reason that you went through those issues is because uh um God's God's son's name was never Jesus because the letter J didn't it was invented in the 1500s. So there's no way he could have been Jesus. That's why there's no power. I was like, okay. So went through that. Um, so I started learning about Yahushua, and I started getting really happy about it and excited about it. So the time that I was living in that house with the man who called me little sis, I had these those experiences like crazy of being attacked at night and stuff like that. So this particular night, I got really excited because I said, I'm gonna say Yahushua because there's power in Yahushua because it ain't J, it ain't Jesus, right? So I'm all excited and I wanted the entity to come because I was like, I'm gonna get rid of this thing tonight. So uh nighttime comes, here comes the entity. I'm in bed. It comes to you. I can't see it, but it's like a visual. It's like a spiritual scene, and so it comes and it sits down. I'm laying down, and it comes and sits down in my pelvis and getting ready to lay down. And I was like, "Yeah, Oshawa!" And it was like it stopped instantly. Like it got so scared, and it was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe she just said that. And it's like it looked back to me, and all this is happening like a millisecond. And it's like it looked back to me like, oh, did she just say that? I can't believe she just said that. And jumped up it jumped up out of me and ran and went through the wall. And never, ever, ever messed with me again. And the part that you don't know is that that entity went downstairs to the wife. Okay, went downstairs, went downstairs to the wife to mess with her because it couldn't mess with me anymore. She had been learning about Yahushua too, so it gets on her, sits down on her pelvis, getting ready to lay down, and she puts her hands up like what, like, and she was like, no, Yahushua, something like that. It jumps up like what the heck, and it runs. A trip. Okay. So what I ended up learning later was it wasn't that I said Yahushua. That was my tool. It was me. It's because the power that's in me, and because I had so much confidence and power, it left because I told it to leave. But at that time, I needed something. And so the word Yahushua is what worked for me. But I realized later on was me. All right. So that was going on during all this situation. So my boyfriend, I was having all kinds of I was tapped in big time spiritually. So he was cheating on me and I could feel it. I knew when he cheated on me to the point where The second that he inserted, I knew what time it was. To the time he finished, I knew what time it was. And it would hurt my feelings so bad. And I would just be crying. The pain was so terrible. My feelings was so hurt. My heart was so broken. And every time it happened, I could feel it. And I was like, this is crazy. And so I used to say, what is he? I wanted to know what he was doing. And it was strange because at that time I read the Bible like crazy. So I got the Bible. I didn't even know I could do this. I got the Bible and I let it drop on the bed, and whatever page it landed on, my eyes on its own would look at certain words, and those words would tell me exactly what he was doing and where he was. I was like, wow. So I confronted him and let him know. I said, okay, look, I want you to know you're not getting away with anything. He was used to getting away with his stuff, right? Throughout his life. And so I told him, um, on just make up days. On Wednesday, you were with a woman and you started having sex with her at 4 o'clock, and you finished having sex with her at 4:57. And he's looking at me like, what? I was like, yeah, I know what you're doing. I was like, and then I'll go, and then he's with another woman here, and she was from A&M and blah blah blah, and I was like breaking it all down. And he's like, what man or woman are you? And I was like,
Right.
and so, um, okay, and he started doing better after that. Okay, anyway, so this one particular night, I heard that I have to go pray over him because uh something's gonna try to kill him tonight. And I had to go over there and protect him. So I was like, okay. And I was like, okay. It was such a trip how stuff just flowed. I was like, okay. So I had no fear. I went over there to spend the night with him, and I was praying over him, and I had my hand, I was touching him the whole time. I was just like, I saw him in a bubble of protection, just me completely protecting him. And what I saw, okay, he had this huge room, enormous, gigantic bedroom, and a portal opened up about 6 to 12 feet or so in between there at the foot of the bed. A big portal opened up in the room, and all these entities at the time that I would call demons, I don't know what they were, but they looked crazy. They looked
So what
hideous.
did the portal look like? Like it was like was it like on some movie type shit where
Yes,
it just started
yes.
opening like this, or like did it come down? Was it looking
It was
black? Was it looking
so my memory of it at the moment was it's like a circle arch, like like let me see, like here, not like here, but like here
yeah.
and like that, right? And it just opened up, and it happened fast. It wasn't like real slow. It just was like and opened up, and it was big, where at least like four could come out at one time. That's how big, or at least four could come out at one time. So they're coming through, and it's a whole bunch of them. They just look all kind of crazy, weird, hideous, mustard looking demons, skinny, frail, just all kind of craziness, like just mischievous and excited to do what they came to do. And so they come and they jump on the bed, and they all looking at him and everything. And I'm looking dead at them, and I had zero fear. I was amazed and love how I had zero fear. And they never looked at me. It was as if they couldn't see me, like I was cloaked. They never looked at me. But they was all around him, and they had their hands like this, and they wanted to do stuff to him, and they were getting frustrated because they couldn't do anything to him. And they didn't understand. They got upset. And so I'm praying more, and I'm saying all the different things I'm saying to cover him. And then they stop and they get mad, and they turn around, they jump off the bed, they go back through the portal, and the portal closes up. And I told him what happened. He was like, "That didn't happen." He did not believe me. I said, "I promise you, this is what happened." He did not believe me. I said that did happen. I protected you. I told him the whole everything that I heard.
And so when you're seeing these beings at the time, do they like look solid, or is this like shadowy look, or like what is the look
You talking about the entity that
that was
were
coming
attacking
through the
me?
portal? Yeah.
Oh, those. So my brain remembers them being like blue. They were like blue. Maybe some green was in there too, but my brain keeps remembering a blue. I don't know if that was the color, but that's what I keep remembering. Is they were a blue color
Hmm.
and they were skinny, long arms, long fingers, crazy heads, crazy faces, big eyes, little eyes, just creepy, creepy.
Gotta let the people know. You know, because this is a thing, and everyone wants to talk about the veil thinning. And are you prepared though? Like, are you prepared to see different dimensions or terminology translation? You know, because dimensions are literally planes of thought, right?
Right,
So when you start attuning into your gifts, you start to be able to see, because there is no separation. You know what I mean? Like everything is right here. It's
right,
all right here, you know?
right.
So it's like, are you prepared to start really seeing um what your reality is really kind of looking like? You know what I mean? Are you ready to see that? And so this is like a perfect example of at least being able to see one dimensional, I don't want to say one dimensional beings, but for translation, we'll just say that everything is a thought form, right? And
Mm-hmm,
so it's a thought that came in a form.
mm-hmm,
And so many of us have always had that, you know, it starts with the children, the things that go bump in the night, the monsters. Then you get told that the demons are a part of this committee, you know, your beasts, you know, all of these things. And so these are planes of thought. And are you ready? You know, people talk about these things and they get excited. We're going through a shift and the veil is lifting. Yeah, but are you ready? Are you
right,
ready?
right, right.
Because we go over to the Fairy Godmother channel, by the way, you know, go to that episode, uh what was that? July, no, August 6th, you know, and I believe
Yeah,
that question comes up, like, what is the ending? You know what I
right,
mean? Like, when
right.
we get to that point, and that's what it is. When we
Mm-hmm,
are able to harmonize with all these dimensions, you know what I'm saying? With all these thoughts, when you can walk past that ugly three-headed fucking demon, you know, and be
exactly,
cool. You know, that's
exactly,
when we'll be like for real living in our bliss. We can't talk about this shit and not really be about it. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
I know that it's a while before the collective really starts wrapping their minds around that. But this is why we are talking, having these talks and getting it out there to start preparing people's minds to start wrapping itself around everything is a thought form.
Mm-hmm,
Everything. If
mm-hmm.
it has been spoken of, that means it has been thought of. If it
Right,
is in a movie, oh, that's even a deeper imprint. You know that
right,
it exists some damn way. You know how
exactly.
many people put their energy into that, watching that movie and their focus on that movie? That shit
Mm-hmm,
exists.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. Question: can we pause for 1 second?
We ready.
Okay. Do you remember what you were saying?
Yeah, I was just telling people to get ready.
For real.
Get
For real.
ready to start seeing these thought forms. You know what I'm saying? Um and two, just knowing that it's about your theme. You know, people call theme in this lifetime.
Hmm.
We say focus. Um, you know, what your theme is, because I don't want to like spook people out, you know, and think that you're like opening yourself up to certain things. It's like you're vibrating at a frequency. So if it doesn't match your vibration, don't worry about it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If your ass
People.
ain't no Ghostbuster, or if you ain't like Mama here, where, you know what I'm saying, she was unusually comfortable. You know? So she's meant to see these types of thought forms, you know? Well, all I'm saying is get prepared to see thought forms that look unlike your human self or any other human that you're used to seeing, just because now we're at that space of awareness where we got to start wrapping our minds around this, around
Hmm.
these other dimensions. You know, like I said, people want to say, oh, we're going into the 4D, we're going into 5D. Yeah, but you about to really start seeing some shit though.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, in these movies, like you said, these movies and stuff, they are helping to desensitize,
They are.
so people can be prepared to start seeing us crazy stuff. And like I love like, Star Trek, any kind of space, anything with quote quote aliens and all they look all different and everything. That's going to people who are into that is really they're going to be more prepared than people who don't look at that type of stuff.
No,
You
that's
know, yeah. And there's this I forgot her name. This lady, this woman on YouTube, and she was teaching people. She said, "Okay, I can teach y'all something." She said, "But if you don't want it," she said, "But if you're scared or you're not ready, do not do what I'm teaching you." And she taught people how to. And I at that time, I said, "I ain't ready. I don't want to learn what she's trying to teach right now." At that time, but she said, um, like we know that everybody isn't a regular human. Well, we know that everybody isn't just a regular human walking around here. You got different people different beings that are cloaked that look like humans, but they're really not, and they interacting and in life, and could be your friend, boss, or whatever. They look like they are a regular human, but they're really not.
I'm
And
like, what
so,
are they?
well, some are extraterrestrial, interterrestrial. It's like you said, there's a veil, but there's people and beings that still walking around. And then you got some that can come into our realm and cloaked, looking like humans and live amongst us. And so the lady was saying how her like she knows she has her eyes where she can see, right? And she said, I believe she said it was a like a UPS guy, right? That came to deliver her package. And she looked at him and she looked at him a certain way, like she could see him. And he looked at her like, oh shoot, she can really see me. She knows she can see what I am. And so he was like trying to hurry up and leave her leave her package and hurry up and leave because he didn't want to be exposed because he was just
Like the
living.
men in black.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yes, like that. And so she told everybody, she said, okay, I'm gonna tell you what to do. She said, but listen, I'm telling you right now. She said, don't she said, don't be coming back on here cussing me out and fussing me out because you can't unsee it. She said, because once I teach you this, and if you decide to do it, what I'm telling you, you will always be able to see them and it will not stop. And so, and I remember that she did another video and she said people was fussing her out,
Mhm.
going off mad, upset, and somehow I can't unsee it. And she said, I told y'all, She said, "Didn't I tell
No,
y'all?"
and why do people don't listen though? Like
Right.
that be blowing me. Like, I
So
mean,
crazy.
they say that words don't teach. I get it, but damn, like if you know you in a deep fear of something, you
Right.
know what I'm saying, where it could rattle you to the point to where you want to go off on the person that is
Right.
spreading this technique, for those who are ready. And they literally give you a warning. Like, what is your problem? That
Yeah. She
shit
gave a
annoys me.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And so she was like, I told her, she was like, whatever, basically letting them basically letting them know that she don't feel sorry for them. I told y'all,
No,
you have a choice.
exactly.
We did it anyway. And then she taught it again. That I cracked up laughing at that because she was like, okay, I'm gonna tell you again, but if you're not ready, don't do it. Okay, this is how you do it. And I cut it off because I was like, at that time, I was like, no, I ain't ready for that right now.
Right.
Not right now. But I
I
know that's
mean, it's a lot.
it is. It's to
It's a
see
lot.
all the time from here on out forever. You looking at just like the movies, right? Just like the different movies. Oh, what's it called? They Live.
Mm.
It's an
I haven't
old movie
seen that one.
where
Yeah, I remember because it was popular for a while. It was being talked about on the social medias. And
where he had the shades and he could see the aliens.
it was all funny looking. I was like, I might be too tuned in to the graphics to like really pay attention to the movie for real,
Right.
like it's like I hate to be biased, but or I dislike to be biased. It's kind of like if it wasn't a old school movie where it's like one of my favorites, you know what I mean? Like I'm not,
Right.
my focus is too like this looks so, I
Stupid.
don't know. I'm not one of those people too that was into like the black and white movies and cartoons. Like I'm just not one of those people, and
Right.
everybody asks why. And it just has a lot to do with my imagination. One, two, spending a lot of time in animated realms. So I really don't like a lot of cartoons. And for this focus, this lifetime, like
Mhm.
I'm to do other things to stretch my imagination. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And those things just ain't it. I be like, you know, I am one of them people, man. I can't get into it. Like.
You know what's interesting? You say you experience cartoon realms. That's what you said, something like that, right? So that's interesting you say that because I remember when I was little, I was visiting my grandmother and I was laying in bed, supposed to be going to sleep, but I'm just up. And I remember seeing a whole like it was close to the ceiling, and I was able to see it was cartoon characters right there
Mhm.
acting out, doing all kind of like they were entertaining me, and I could literally see there was looking dead at them do a whole little routine and everything right there in front of me, and I was like, wow, I'm literally seeing a cartoon
Play out. Yeah.
in real time play out. I'm just looking at it.
Yeah. I just kind of always, even younger, um, I can remember watching certain cartoons, but like I wasn't one of those children that spent, all the time watching the cartoons, and then what was even funnier is I liked more of the adult cartoons, like Roger Rabbit.
Right.
Um, I just ain't never, it just kind of ain't never been me. Like, even I was like, what am I gonna do when I have a child? And then when they get to singing and shit, I be like, shut up. And I know it sounds crazy because I'm a fairy and everything, but um, there's some movies that I have given a chance, but it was singing, but it wasn't, like every, like I'm like, oh goodness. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I'm very fortunate just right now at this time because my daughter is super independent and she like to do her own thing. So even when I be trying to sit with her and like watch a movie. Oh, like it kept showing up into my reality to watch Inside Out. You know, the
Oh
movie
yeah.
about the emotions. And everybody was like, I can't believe you ain't seen it. I was like, I ain't never even heard of it. Like and so I
Yeah.
tried to get her to watch that with me, and my baby was like, Sugar Mom was like, I gotta go play with these blocks real quick though. So, it's like she does her own thing. So I'm kind
Right.
of fortunate in that where, we kind of not at the era where mommy got to sit down and watch this cartoon 1,000 times because baby said so. Like, no, she wants to do her own thing in her own time. Okay.
That worked out well for you, didn't it?
It did. It's so funny having a child like later on. You know what I mean? Because I just um and then astrology too, looking at her chart, like it's hilarious. Like, yeah, she definitely chose me as her mom. You know what I mean? And like her personality fits to be a child of mine. You know,
Right. Right.
and it even says in her chart like, um, she's not likely to have any siblings, but if she does, like it needs to be like a really big age gap. Cause
Mm.
she gonna have a jealous streak and all this, and it is so funny because the couple of babies that I have picked, it was even her own little cousin. He's like almost a year old, and so I'm picking him up. And no, she come over there and like she trying to like push him out the way, and, like get in my lap, like she was not having that shit.
Right.
Like
Like, excuse me, you're my mommy.
no, so they was like, it has to be like a big gap, so it'll be more like. You know what I mean? Like maybe like her Barbie doll. Oh, mommy, look at the baby. Probably like 7, 8, and then I have a baby, which we know that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. But tune into the saga because when I was in when I had her and I'm not gonna say screaming, that's super dramatic. Y'all know I'm dramatic in speech. But when I was on repeat, like I'm not having another one. I'm not having another one. Um, I did hear the voice in the back of my head say, yeah, 45. And I was like, so we'll wait for it. But it'll be funny because she'll, at that point, she will be like, what, like 7, 6, like 6. So we'll wait for it. But look, your fairy godmother ain't got time, okay?
You
According
said you
to,
got to
look, according to my title, I got like 9 billion kids. I ain't got time. I ain't
That's
got time.
hilarious. I'm one.
Look, I'm just saying, like we didn't play this game a million times. I don't know how many babies. I ain't. So I only need to birth one child. Okay, but anyway, so we just went off on a whole tangent. All right, so bring it back, bring it back.
Okay.
So I really want to get into this like sex coach thing, right?
Yes.
Because of course we want to talk about the services we're going to be offering to the people. And so, um, first of all, how do you feel about that? First of all, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you feel about that.
About doing
Sex
sex
coaching.
coaching.
Yeah.
I it's been something that I have done in the past anyway, so it makes sense that that's something that I'm going to be doing. Um like I've known for years that I'm going to be helping women big time with different issues, and especially now not limited to, but especially uh like what's coming out of my denomination, Seventh-day Adventist. Coming out of that with all the indoctrination with that, I have helped women in the past, and I so enjoyed it. I just so enjoyed helping women with the whole sex issue. And it's like it's definitely, I feel, a calling to help women, especially coming out of religion, but not limited to.
No, but when you say coming out of religion, be more specific. Like, what are you noticing is the
Okay.
issue with sex and women
Okay.
in religion?
So because and I can, speak from where I came. Um it's so much emphasis on the female, even more than the male. They say we, for all of us, we're not supposed to have sex till we get married. They all churches teach that. But for women, it was such a big deal of all the burden was on us. That's how I felt. Keep your legs closed. Don't have your dress hem too high. Don't be showing your knees. I remember that we couldn't wear, at one time. It used to be when you can't wear pants because that was what men wore. Some women
Mm.
to this day keep their head covered.
Yeah.
No spaghetti strings. That's showing too much
Yeah.
skin, too much flesh. Don't show your cleavage.
Wow, I forgot about all of
Yeah,
that.
gonna be having clothes on too tight, showing your body, showing your shape. That's for your husband. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Um, don't have sex, 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 right? Don't touch yourself. Don't masturbate. Oh no, right? Oh, touching yourself. Oh my God, that's just, they thought that's just awful. So when you have all this indoctrination of keep your legs closed, don't do anything to draw attention to yourself, don't do stuff where men will be attracted. It was a trip because it's like, so men, they act like men are just so pitiful that it's all the woman's responsibility to make sure you do not tempt him. That's what it was about. Don't tempt him. Well, what about him? Can he make sure that he do his job according to y'all and not touch, mess with us, whatever? But whatever. But anyway, it's all about we can't, don't, shame, 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 whatever. And so if you even seem like you enjoyed your sexuality or being a woman or whatever, oh, the harlot, whore, we couldn't wear, at one time we couldn't wear jewelry, we couldn't wear makeup, um red lipstick. What? Girl, there are times where older women, like deaconesses, if let's say a young woman has on red lipstick, they will get tissue, walk up to her and wipe it off her mouth.
Mhm.
You talking about control? So because that's like Jezebel. No, 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 no. You know what I'm saying? So okay, so since it's been indoctrinated into women of keep yourself closed up, don't show, don't look sexy, don't, all this stuff. They don't, like I say with military, right? They don't deprogram them after they learn. They go to war, they learn how to kill, 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 learn all this all these things, and then they come back over here and they have to try to figure everything out. That's why they go through post traumatic stress syndrome. You know what I'm saying? They go through so much stuff because they didn't. What's the word? It's not. It's depro. What's the word? I'm saying deprogram, but it's another word for it, isn't it? Well, you know what I
That sounds about right to me.
but they don't,
Deprogram,
right,
unlearn, like,
right. They don't teach them how to adapt over here, in civilian world, and so
okay.
when so many Christian women get married, not all, because we've changed big time, but still, there's so many women that by the time they get married, they're stiff, they're scared, they don't know how to do anything, they don't know how to participate, they weren't taught anything. Um, there's a lady that I know to this day, she's 80 something years old, and she doesn't get undressed in front of her husband. They've been married forever. That boggled my mind. because of all this, you have to be chaste. So when is it when you get married, you do this, do that? Because even me, even I didn't. I mean, I'm very open with my girls, but I realized I didn't go and teach specifics. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm very open. So I think just for me, just being an open person, you know, it made this okay because I talk. I talk about my stuff. So I don't know, but it's just really sad. So there's women who's like, I don't like sex. I don't like sex. And it's a whole mental thing. It's a whole mental thing. And it's sad. And then those men, they upset, they're frustrated. Okay, I did what I was supposed to do. Y'all said have a wife, right? I get married and she don't even want to have sex. She don't even like sex. Or it hurts. She don't even know what to do. She doesn't know how to
That's
do
true.
anything. She's stiff as a board. She's just laying there. She don't know how to get sexy. It's
No, these
terrible.
are very valid points because to another one of my questions was going to be like how do you plan on like infiltrating in that space, not being a part of religion, but I feel like um with being able to express kind of that this is your background
Mm,
and this is basically why you are the expert.
right, right.
But still being able to um but you have the gift of gab. But I know
Yeah.
that some um churches are so strict,
Oh yeah, I couldn't
but
do it in their area. It would have to be. First of all, I know a lot of people in that arena, right? Because I was raised in it, so I still have connections with a lot of people. So, um,
but I
and
could
then
totally still see you like I could totally still see you just going in to random churches, like, and asking to speak to the head nigga in charge. Like, look, this is what
no,
I
you're
do.
right.
And really talking to them like you're talking to me, like, from a female perspective and a male perspective,
You're
And as far as keeping y'all couples together, I feel like this is needed. And here's why. And, here's my card.
You know what? That is, that is so true. And then there's a lot of women conferences, a lot of women conferences. So many different types of meetings, women's groups. They're like the avenue is there. I'm just letting
Yeah,
you the
definitely.
door is plenty of doors. It's plenty of doors
Yeah, I was
there.
just saying with that religious thing. I think everywhere else, like, because, as people were here to see today, you're able to work through the challenges and
Mhm.
um still in talking about difficult situations. Like I was saying earlier, there's still a calm, there's still a knowing and an emotional deliverance that you're still able to give that's not too much emotion to where it could trigger people, and it's
Right,
not so stoic to where they feel like they're talking to a brick wall, you know what I
right,
mean? And
right,
where you're kind of waiting for somebody to say, mm-hmm, say something. Like, damn. Because,
right.
in this industry, as coaches, regardless of what kind of coach you are, you kind of got to know your middle. Because you
Yeah,
can't be too overly like, oh my God, coddly, but then
right,
you can't be too stand backish. You can't be too stoic. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Because that can also shut someone down. So I feel
right,
like you got a very good median there. And then life has presented so many colorful experiences to where you are almost like a walking book, meaning,
right.
how like a lot of therapists and psychologists, they haven't really been through the experiences that they're
Right,
kind of.
firsthand. Exactly. Reading a book and going through it is two different things. Two different things. Like, okay, so I have two examples of what we're talking about. So I remember when I was in the church, it was me and a group of women, and they were all older than me, been married more years than me at the time, and they were like, "Yeah, I don't like sex." Some of them, I don't like sex, or it hurts, or I really don't know what to do. I don't feel like I know I'm not satisfying my husband. He wants me to do this and the other, but I don't feel right, or I feel
I
like that
feel
might
that
be
it's like
wrong.
nasty, like
Yeah, exactly,
yeah,
exactly, because of not being deprogrammed, right?
like he wants
And
me to
so
put
I
my
was so,
mouth on it.
I know, right? Ugh, I can't believe, right? So, so I talked to them and they were like all ears, you know. And so I coached them. That's why I said I've been doing this type of stuff throughout the years. So I coached them on how to feel comfortable, how to relax,
Mm.
how to think about sex, how to prepare themselves uh, before they have sex with their man, how to do certain types of things so they will want to have it, so the man be excited like, oh, she wants me. You're not me always trying to get it from her. I taught them different positions, sex positions, uh ways of making it more comfortable, ways of being in power and being in control of the whole situation. And then you got like, some men are very endowed and some women don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
I was teaching of how to deal with situations like that. Just
And
I
the
started getting
different positions, because
exact.
that
That's not
is
the same old boring
and it's
stuff.
hard to relax, right? Because you scared he gonna hit that spot, like hit the fucking
Right,
cervix, and it's like,
right,
you know what I mean?
right. How to
So
put look, how to put
positions
your
are,
hands. Look, how to put your hands at a certain part right there at your hip bones or whatever this part is called at your bone
yeah,
to yeah, I was teaching them all type
your
of stuff.
pelvic, yeah,
Yeah,
that's crucial. That's crucial.
exactly. And so they were so excited, and I was like, okay,
And
I'll
then
give
if
them
you
all.
have a small one,
Right,
yeah,
right, right. You gotta know how to deal with that.
how to
Exactly.
maneuver and work, work your body and move so that, you also get some satisfaction and the
Exactly.
Kegels while you're moving.
Yes.
You know,
Exactly. Exactly. And
'cause
so I
that's
gave them
important.
assignments. I gave them assignments. They were all excited. They came back and reported to me. They were so happy. So I felt it was so rewarding that I was so young dealing with these women way older than me and help them with their sex life. I loved it. And so I knew that that was something I was going to be doing in my life, is helping women in that area. And especially, but not limited to women women that are in religion and or coming out. Either way, just has any kind of that stuff in them that makes them feel less than in that area.
Mhm.
So I'm very good at that. I'm very good at that. And I enjoy it. I make people feel comfortable and make
Yeah.
it where they can talk to me. And people love to open up to me. This. You know how you just have. Well, I know everybody doesn't go through that, but I know you do, April. People just want to come and tell you their whole life story, tell you everything. That I go through that a lot, and I'm right. I'm here for it. I'm here for it, and I have a lot of experience in a lot of things, and I am able to help others with the practical. Is that what they call it? You gotta do the practical. There's a hands-on stuff.
Mhm.
Is that yeah, yeah.
No, that's very important. Especially the masturbation. Like all of it is important. It all plays a very integral part in the act in totality. So, um, so anyway, for the audience, we will be putting more of her information out there. She will be doing a podcast. to get y'all more familiar with her energy. As we said, sometimes this sex thing can be controversial, it can be forbidden, it can be squeamish for some. And we just want to put it out there, and bring it back kind of closer to its origins, which is about honor, reverence, and appreciating one another's vessels and bodies, and bringing it back to that instead of how it's being exploited right now. I don't like it. And then the lower vibrational aspects that's being put on it, like she was, like Nita was just discussing, the shame, the guilt, the suppression, like it's time now. We ready in our consciousness to move on from that.
And helping the men too. That keeps being projected to, like, because you got a lot of men, they people didn't teach them. There's a lot of men where they didn't get taught anything, and they winging it, and or thinking they doing something when no, you need some training in this area. You know what I'm
Girl,
saying? Or think that all women are the same. No, women get stimulated different ways.
I
Everybody is
love
different.
that. Like
Yes,
being,
it's not one
and
size
really
fits
dealing
all.
with males, and how to stimulate women, the different types of women and trying different things and watching the way her body responds. Because
Exactly.
that is so crazy that you say that because, we love the men.
Yes, we
But
do.
sometimes they'll read a squirm the wrong way. You know what I
Right.
mean? Where her body is like, because she don't like that. Versus a ooh,
Right. Or the opposite. It's a ooh, I like that. Don't stop, even though it looks like I'm trying to get away from you.
Right. And just learning how to read the body and her facial expressions too. And what is it, like 90% of the communication is body language, it's not verbal, So just
And they need to start. People need to start talking too, though. That's that people get
that's so
scared to
sexy,
talk.
ain't it?
Yes, talk about it. Talk about what you like. Talk about you coach. You're gonna have to coach because everybody's different. I mean, that is so
Or,
important.
too, learning how to, because that's the biggest way, because people are uncomfortable, with coaching people in the actual act in an actual
Yes,
time.
coach in the
So it's like
act in a
play a
loving way.
game. Yeah, like play a game with it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like when you
yeah,
first start having sex with someone, instead of like right into it, you know, y'all play a touchy game where, you explore each other's bodies and find out, that so that person feels free to be like, oh, well, maybe if you try it like this, or maybe if
right,
you rub up this way instead of coming down, or just
right.
the simple little touch and strokes and and really being intimate before
Yes,
there's intercourse. You know,
exactly,
like
exactly.
that's really body exploration. Oh, so yes. Oh,
Right.
wait a
Exactly.
minute. I just
Exactly.
seen you coming out with games. Oh,
Oh, wow.
that is
Interesting.
amazing.
Very interesting.
I was
Very
wondering why they
interesting.
kept being forceful with the games. And it's so funny you asked the question, like, how do you, when it comes through? This is how it happens. It's like, I kept hearing games, games, games. And then I just seen you, and you got like this box. Like, yes,
Excellent.
we
Excellent.
love it.
Excellent. And people have to get to the point. Like I hear some women, men and women, talk about when they've been with somebody. Let's say it's the first time or second. Stop being mean to people. Like, are you kidding me? You can't. That a person is the most vulnerable during that time.
Yeah.
That's not the time to be mean. And if you don't like something that's happening, that's if you don't like something, then just lovingly say it to the person. Don't destroy them for the rest of their
Or
life.
you shouldn't even having sex with them.
For real.
You know what
For
I'm
real.
saying? Like
For
if
real.
that is so annoying to you, like that, and that's what I mean about taking it, like taking it back to praise, honor, reverence of each other's vessels. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like you just trying to get a nut for real. That's why you're so
Right.
irritated and so upset with that
Right.
motherfucker. Like, go jack off. Or go play
Right.
with yourself, whatever the terminology is.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Go masturbate.
That's right. It's okay. It's okay.
Like, no, that's ridiculous. And I can okay, I'm put myself out there. When I was younger, I was definitely like that because I felt like, and too with the young people, this is a thing too. Because when I was younger, I felt like, and this crazy work. Now it sounds so crazy to me. Where I felt like if you was for me, if you was the one for me, like I shouldn't have to say anything. Like you should know it.
Right.
That was
But
the biggest thing for me.
you're
You know
not
how
the only one.
ignorant that is.
Adults, but there's adults to this day who feel the exact same way.
That's so
But
ignorant.
you have every sometimes there are partners that you end up getting with who just happen to come with all the knowing and equipment. Sometimes that works, but that's not all the time. In my opinion. I don't think I think that's far. I don't think I don't think the percentage is extremely high in that area because you got some men who just think they just know and do the same thing to another woman, and she looking like what?
No, especially when it comes to pressure on the clit. Like some
Right,
women like a lot of pressure. And then so that little tickle you doing or you think that shit is annoying. You might get
right,
kicked.
right, right, right.
Where some
Exactly,
women don't like a lot of pressure. And then so all that pressure you putting on, they're like, oh, what the fuck?
exactly. And some women don't like nothing being done to that area at all. They might like only G spot. It's just so much different stuff. When I read different things and I see how it's so much information on the clitoris,
Mm.
I go that's really interesting. It's they act like everybody's the same, and that frustrates me. That frustrates me. Everybody is different. Everybody gets stimulated differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to learn your partner on both sides, on
This
both
is the
ends.
thing. Yes. And to what you were saying, earlier, like even with a partner that how the first time y'all get down, you like, damn, like
Right.
that you feel that they know what they doing. Like, okay, but what if and especially doing a lot of these readings and self-exploration. Like your body does change, number one.
Yes, it
Number
does.
two, when you do have, a lover who's pretty good at what they're doing, like there's infinite levels to this. So they're good. They can be great. When they're great, they can be spectacular. Like so communication is very important in finding those spots and even exploring your own body because maybe even what you liked yourself 2 years ago might not work for you now. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
simple, especially as simple as, or not simple, it's not the word, as sensitive as the clit is, it's like I learned you can not even what is the smallest? Like not even a centimeter, like not even it's just as simple as your clit being in the hand like this. Like say this is the clit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just from the middle, like the bottom of the finger to the
Mm-hmm.
middle to the top of touching the clit. It's so many different sensations and just
Right.
that.
Right. Right.
You know what
Right.
I mean? Like,
Right.
yo, like it's so much to explore.
It is so much. So much. I remember when I had learned we're so used to as far as a clitoris is concerned, what we see on the outside People think that that's all there is. The clitoris is actually
And
huge on the inside of
inside,
the
yeah.
body.
Mhm.
The clitoris is just a little teeny tiny itty bitty part, or big, depending on the woman, that you can see. But there's so much more on the inside that can be explored. So
Oh,
there's
girl, you scared me. I thought you was about to talk about lifting that hood up. I'm like, I'm not one of those.
no. I wasn't gonna no, no, I wasn't gonna go there. But
Some like it. I'm like, mm-mm, don't do that.
right, right, and everybody, come on, it's like the difference is fingerprints. You know what I'm saying? A fingerprint. That's how different all these are. It's fingerprint. So if you got one woman that has a certain type, what makes you think just because you get to this other woman you see is different? So what makes you think it's going to be exactly like the other one? It's not. It's going
Yeah.
to be different. It's going
Ugh,
to be different. And so yeah, it's a lot.
like
It's
who
a
write
lot.
a book?
It's
Ooh. Anyway,
yeah.
y'all.
So
So anyway, her podcast is coming soon. So tune in. And in the meantime, in between time, go ahead and drop your social media information. And then we're also gonna have that in the description part. So just in case you're ready for private sessions, now you can start hitting her up. You know what I mean? But this is a progression. So the podcast is coming, and then she'll be ready to take on clients in bulk at that time, you know, but definitely hit her up for some one-on-one consultations and, be able to discuss what's going on with you in the consultation so that she can come up with a customized, because that's what we're doing over here. Most of us are You Thrive coaching boo-boos. Okay. We are not just doing templates and things of this nature. In this current time right now, we are doing customized programs for people. So you get a consultation, kind of tell her what's going on. And because this is her natural gift, this is what she came here to do. This is why she had all these colorful experiences, boo boo. That's what make her the expert, okay? She is going to assist you. You and her are going to put y'all intuitions together, and y'all are going to come up with a beautiful, miraculous plan so that you can get all that you desire. Yeah, so
so
just briefly, verbally, tell them your social media. Again, we will have it in the description.
okay. So Facebook is my name, Jenita Sherrod, as you see it right there on the screen. You see it right there, right? Can you see it?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
so that's what I am on Facebook. I am literally the only Jenita Sherrod on Facebook, so you can't miss me. Um, my um, TikTok is at Resilience Jenita, which is RESILIENTJENITA. Resilient Jenita. Um, Let me see. My Instagram. That's we have to get all these things together. My Instagram. I could be wrong, but I believe my Instagram is at Jenita Sherrod. I'm on my phone right now, so I won't be able to look at it on there. I believe it's on there. But I really think it's at Jenita Sherrod on Instagram.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
not, just find her on the TikTok, boo. And
Right.
we will definitely see you soon. Like I said, this information is going to be in the description. So you want to close us out with any final words, Miss Janita?
Yes, yes. Look, thank you for saying like that too. Janita. A lot of people say Janetta. That is incorrect. It is
Well, I
Janita.
was trying to not to call you Nita.
Oh, I don't mind that. Y'all can call me Nita all day. I'm good. Just don't call me Janetta.
Ooh.
um, Well, one thing that I have learned is it is important to start loving yourself. We're so used to looking outside of ourselves for love, craving it, crying for it, dying for it. The love that you're looking for outside of yourself is already inside of yourself. So it's already in you. Start loving yourself because you are enough. You are worth it. You're valuable. You're very important.
Mm.
We love you. I just love people. And it's time for you to start loving yourself if you don't. That's what I have to say.
Well, there you have it, people. And yeah, we out this piece. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all know, do all the social media things. Like, subscribe,
Yeah.
share, all the things. All the things. Do all the things. And we love y'all so much. Thank y'all for tuning in. We're gonna catch y'all next time. Peace, love, and bliss. Peace.